He's been a top shooter in the league, has shot 39% from three over the last 2 years. But what Lonzo Ball gives this team is some size at 6'6" in the backcourt. The Cavs are also entering the second apron moving forward now, and that's financially a burden. So he's a little bit of a cheaper option for them. And Kobe Altman, the Cavs president, has been targeting Lonzo Ball since the NBA trade deadline. But what this really means, Ryan, is that Sixth Man of the Year candidate Ty Jerome is expected to depart the Cavaliers as a free agent coming up. The Cavaliers are bracing for his exit. That's why you bring in Lonzo Ball. And now you have Darius Garland, Ball, you have Craig Porter Jr., Sam Merrill, essentially as your point guard depth.
Yeah, Jerome was an amazing find for Cleveland last year, but with Ball, they get a defensive boost. Hopefully he can stay healthy as well. Now, one of the teams you're keeping an eye on is the Lakers. We're always keeping an eye on the Lakers. With the first full season of LeBron and Luka together, what's their outlook for free agency?
100% is building a championship contending roster around both of those guys. And their first order of business is Dorian Finney-Smith's player option. He has until tomorrow, Sunday, to decide, is he going to pick that up or decline it? But listen, Ryan, the biggest need for the Lakers right now is center. Rob Pelinka, their president, has been vocal and upfront about it. We have to go find some size. So you think about names like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Al Horford is also available on the open marketplace. So they're going to be really prioritizing the center position. So I'll be very mindful the first day or two of free agency on Monday, Tuesday, which center do they find?
Yeah, they ended up trying to go after Mark Williams last year. That didn't work out because of the failed physical, but they got some options on the free agent market. Now, you talk about Brook Lopez. He played for the Bucks.
Windy. Let's start with a windy watch, and let's start in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so Luka Doncic has a really big decision whether to extend his contract with the Lakers coming up. Now, he can't do that for a month until August 2nd, but that doesn't mean the Lakers don't have to get busy, because they're going to, when they go to Luka with that deal, which they hope to get him to sign for 4 years, he may take a shorter contract, they're going to want to have shown him what they've done to improve this roster, specifically to get him a center. That's one of the things he asked for when he got traded there. It was one of the things they did in Dallas, which really helped supercharge that team. The Lakers have got to get to work on that. Also, LeBron James has a decision to make over the weekend. He has until Sunday to decide on his contract option. It's $53 million. Last year in this same position, he opted out of his contract, offered the Lakers to take a pay cut if they could find a free agent to sign. They didn't. This year, no such offer has been made, and the expectation is that LeBron will opt into this deal and take $53 million and his no-trade clause into next season. And then obviously we have one more thing, which is the Austin Reeves situation. He turned down a 4-year, $90 million contract extension this week. That was expected. He can sign for more next season when he can become a free agent and probably attract, if he has another good year, Dan, a 9-figure contract.
Yeah, that's good for him. But in the meantime, the Lakers, nobody made a bigger move than they made during the season when they got Luka Doncic. And as Wendy pointed out, now they got to convince him they're going to build a championship team around him. How do they do that?
Yeah, and Rob Pelinka, their general manager, he was up front, certainly at the deadline after the Luka trade when they tried to go acquire Mark Williams, and that trade when it was rescinded. And then when they lost in the postseason, he said, well, that's our priority right now. Here's what they have to offer in free agency in the trade market. They had the $5.7 million tax mid-level exception. What does that get you? It could get you a player like maybe Luke Cornett. The market of free agent centers is very shallow. Al Horford is certainly another name. Larry Nance Jr., certainly Jackson Hayes, who is already there. Precious Achiuwa, Clint Capella. Those are some of your veterans there. Mason Plumlee, as we said. The other thing to focus on is the trade market. They have over $60 million in expiring contracts. Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura. They've got a first-round pick in 2031 or 32 to go out and make a deal. It's interesting, yesterday the Lakers sent out cash in a trade with Chicago. That has hard capped them at the second apron. They've got the flexibility still to make a deal. They're about $16 million under. So they have to prioritize how to make the money work. They're not allowed to take back more money in a trade. So if they trade a $12 million player, they can't take back $14 million salary because of the apron rule. So we'll watch what the Lakers do over the next couple of weeks here.
Tim Bontemps, what do you think the Lakers should be doing over the next couple of weeks here?
Well, Bobby just nailed it, Graz. They have to go get a center. They have to also get some shooting on the perimeter. They need some more athleticism defensively on the perimeter. And look, all you got to do is look at how the Western Conference playoffs shook out. The Lakers lost in 5 games in the first round of the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was not a incredibly competitive series. And the Minnesota Timberwolves went on to make the Western Conference Finals and lost in 5 games to the Oklahoma City Thunder in what it was a not very competitive series. So when you look at the gap that the Lakers have to make up to catch up to a team like Oklahoma City, the defending champions, who should be even better next season with a young roster, getting better and more experienced, and now going through the 4 weeks or the several weeks that it takes to win the 4 rounds to win a championship. The Lakers have a lot of work to do this summer to get to that kind of level, obviously with limited assets, as Bobby just laid out. But the first thing they have to do is go out and find a center. You look through that available list, there is not exactly a guy sitting there that's going to be the kind of lob threat and rim protector that Luka Doncic thrives so much playing alongside.
Wendy, how do you see this summer playing out for the Lakers?
Yeah, so none of those players, quite frankly, are a player that Luka Doncic is looking for because they're not the lob threat and defensive center that fits. And that's really what really transformed the situation in Dallas when they went out and got Derek Lively and they went out and got Daniel Gafford. So the Lakers are going to have to use these expiring contracts. And I will say, there should be a deal for them to make. Now, whether or not it will transform them as a team, I don't know, but they prioritize it. They've had months to analyze it. They've had months to have negotiations. There's no reason why in the next few days they shouldn't be able to execute a trade. If they do not, they are going to basically be going to Luka and saying, hey, trust us. And maybe Luka will. Luka has given no indication that he won't sign that contract, but ideally you want to get that locked up so that you can approach with new ownership a multi-year approach to building around Luka Doncic.
Right, so we'll keep a close eye on that. We're also keeping a close eye on Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I expect them to be extremely aggressive this offseason, especially with LeBron likely going into, he's got 1 year left on his contract. I think there's 3 things here. You've got to take advantage of the $60 million in expiring contracts when you're looking at certainly players like Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura. The second thing is they showed their hand at the trade deadline when they made that Mark Williams trade that wound up failing him on his physical. They are going to go out and get a center this offseason. We'll see how that goes. You've got 1 first-round pick to do that. And then the third thing is keep an eye on August 2nd. That is when Luka is eligible to sign that extension. So you're trying to build for the now, but I think you also have to have an eye for the future when eventually LeBron does retire here.
So that's an interesting piece of this to me, Alan, is that you've got Tatum is what he is, right? He's a young player. He had a catastrophic injury, but he'll be back, and knock on wood, he'll be great. With the Lakers, you have to both have a plan to try and win the title next year, which feels within grasp, and also have something put together for what will then become Luka's Lakers into the future.
I'm not even worried about that. I'm not.
You're just winning next year.
This is your window right now. You still have LeBron James. With those 2 guys, you have a chance to win a championship because of their greatness together. What you can control is the most important need on this roster is a center. So they tried Mark Williams. He would have been a great fit. For whatever reason, that didn't happen. But I expect